This is Dolynny TV, guys, and you know what? This has just become habit, and I absolutely love it. Talking Edmonton Oilers with you guys every single day of the week. It's been my pleasure, and I hope you guys have enjoyed as we enter new territory, right? This is the big thing. Last night, San Jose 8:30 game, and Ken Hitchcock behind the bench for his first game as Edmonton Oilers head coach, and I'm going to go a little bit back to about 11 o'clock yesterday morning, kind of thinking what I thought was going to happen against San Jose. So you fire your head coach, you're going against the Pacific Division leaders, and you've looked as terrible as you have over the past 7 games. New head coach, there was nothing the new head coach, in my mind, there was nothing Hitchcock could do to solve the Oilers' issues and actually get a W, especially in San Jose. You know what, I wrote that game off, 9 hours, 10 hours before it even started puck drop. So to get a W last night, yes, albeit in overtime, I was very, very, very pleased. You know what, I fought myself from about 2 o'clock to when I left to go to watch it at 5:30. I fought myself all the way. Do I go? Do I sit down and watch the game? Do I save myself the disappointment? What do I do here? And then kind of just right around when I did that Todd McLellan firing video yesterday, I sat down and I watched a couple of the clips from Peter Chiarelli, a couple of the clips from Ken Hitchcock, and I thought, hold on, we might see a very different Oilers team. And now you're going to come at me for that one. I 100% understand that I'm going to catch flack for saying we saw a different Oilers team last night, because most times we didn't. But in one aspect, in that 4-3 overtime win, yes, we did. The different aspect we saw, something I didn't see live in Calgary, something I haven't seen in TV games for the past couple of weeks, is the support. And hey, like I said, talking about those couple of clips from Ken Hitchcock, what did Hitch say in one of his lines? He said that he needs the players to play for each other and with each other, essentially, and that's exactly what they did last night most times out there. 90% of the time, I'd say last night against San Jose, whether we were up or whether we were down, whether we were tied. We were never up in that game until the game ended in overtime. But essentially, every time a puck got loose, somebody had somebody else's back that was going in to retrieve the puck. It was absolutely masterful. And you saw when they didn't, what ended up happening, right? The Matt Benning defensive gaff where he goes to the end boards to crash his man instead of staying in front of the net, to the wide open man who is just magically standing there because, oh crap, what's a defensive assignment? Anyway, that was a big gaff where nobody had anybody's back, but what are you supposed to do, right? Everybody else contained in the zone. The Oilers just need to kind of learn to stop taking the corner man. He's not as dangerous as the man out in front, and Louis DeBrusk and Kevin Quinn talked about that in the broadcast, so I don't want to go too much into that. You guys have already heard that line once or twice over, depending on how many times you've watched last night's game. But the Klefbom-Larson situation right there, where Klefbom should have dumped it in and he fanned on it and absolutely butchered that, and then Larson looked like he was a CHL defenseman, 16-year-old, just playing his first game in the CHL against NHL offense. Yeah, it was it was a mess. But save for those 2 instances and Matt Benning's other gaff where he fell down at the blue line and let a 2-on-1 happen, you know what? Everybody had everybody's back. And even on that 2-on-1 that Matt Benning fell down on, hell, it wasn't a goal because we got back defensively. That's the big thing, right? So having each other's back out there, honestly, if anything changed from Todd McLellan's Oilers to Ken Hitchcock's Oilers in the matter of 3 periods last night, it was the matter that I saw the boys supporting each other on the ice a lot more than they have in the past 7, 8, 9, 10 games so far. So that's good. That's step 1. So let's go kind of review now the stats of this 4-3 overtime win. If you guys know the stat sheet, if you guys kind of even followed the game last night, you would know what happened. We'll just quickly touch on the 3 stars as selected by Sportsnet for last night's game. Leon Draisaitl gets the goal and 2 assists to be the first star. 22 minutes, 15 seconds time on ice. Of course, he was out there for most of the overtime, so you got to give them an extra minute there. So 21 minutes in that 60 minutes of actual hockey. And then Connor McDavid, a goal and 2 assists, same thing as Leon Draisaitl and Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. Simple as that. He gets that shorthanded goal, and that shorthanded goal, let me tell you, did things ever change for probably about 5 minutes after that Ryan Nugent-Hopkins shorthanded goal, because all of a sudden the Oilers really started pushing pace and really playing their up-tempo hockey, right? All of a sudden that juice was in them, and they were just out there playing their style, and similar to what they did against San Jose in the first 10 minutes of the first period, right? They let in the goal, whatever, wipe it clean. The next 9 minutes and 15 seconds, they absolutely mopped the floor with San Jose. Not defensively, not offensively, just in good, clean hockey, taking away pucks, making sure San Jose didn't get chances, moving the puck down the ice, right? It wasn't beautiful by any means. Like, it was amazing to see, but in terms of, like, hockey, if we stomped the Sharks in the first 10 minutes, we would have been up 4-1, right? That, like, there's relative terms to be used here, but it was great to see out of an Edmonton Oilers team, and especially after that shorthanded goal, they got right back to that. And then second period, man, like, it was just kind of detrimental to the whole night. Is all of a sudden it goes back and forth, some defensive gaffes, obviously Logan Couture's goal and stuff like that, and the back and forth. The Oilers cannot get caught in the back and forth. They have to own the tempo of play. With this roster that they have to own the tempo of play out there, or they will only be a 500 club. There's some teams that won't be able to play against them even when they're trading chances, and other teams are going to mop the floor with them. You got to think Winnipeg, Tampa Bay, Washington. Teams like that are going to be able to do that. Now, I say Washington, we've already played their 2 games and we don't have to worry about them. But if we meet them in the Stanley Cup Finals, yes, we have to worry about them. So there's some adjustments to be made at every step of the season, right? And now with Ken Hitchcock in there, oh man, are there ever a lot of different things and adjustments to be changed and made. So Mikko Koskinen, let's touch on him briefly. After the 3 goals, it was looking rough for him. You know what, honestly, not a great night out of him at that point, but then gets a little bit of luck off the crossbar, and I think at that point he said, you know what, nothing else is going on this game. I'm stopping everything from here on out. 3 goals on 25 shots. You know what? The Oilers are going to win a majority of their games if they get goaltending like that. 3 goals, 25 shots. The offense the Oilers have, they are able to do it if the defense keeps it to that kind of goal. And of course, like I said, 2 goals against Koskinen are on the defense wholeheartedly. He stood. As soon as Larson was the last man back on that Couture goal, there was nothing left for Koskinen to do. It was game over. As good of a goaltender as Koskinen is, yes, I want him to be the starter. I believe he is the starter, but even as a grade B starter, I mean, Koskinen's no Price, Rene, Vasilevsky, right? We're not talking to that caliber starter. We're talking a Canadian secondary market starter, like, you know what I mean? Like Freddie Anderson in Toronto's great, but not good. So I'd say Koskinen's the tier down from Anderson. So I guess, like I said, tier B, right? If you go A plus, A, B, he's a B. And like I said, against Logan Couture with Larson back and doing what he did, it's game over for Koskinen. So don't blame that goal. Don't blame the Benningaff goal. The first goal, well, you know what? What do you do, right? The team's learning a new system and learning it on the fly, maybe an hour before the game. That isn't going to translate to too many good things. So honestly, Koskinen, probably not a single goal against for him in that game realistically. 3 goals against on 25 shots. I'm not blaming Koskinen, and I'm happy to have won that game in overtime. Now, the big thing, I'll pull this up here. I'm going to go to my Twitter poll that I put out while at work today. I've been trying to tweet with you guys a little bit more, just kind of gauge what you guys are doing. Let's go see what the heck is going on. Where's my profile? There you go. Let's go see this right now. So I asked, how impressed were you with the Oilers' win last night? This is a pretty vague question, right? There's a lot to be considered. I've considered the defensive gaffes, the goaltending, the offense, everything in between. And considering we went to overtime to take this W, right? A new head coach, there's a lot to be considered. Well, I put 3 options: very, kinda, and not at all. So 25 votes in, that's higher than normal on my polls, so I will take that as a positive. Very was at a 28 percentile. Guys, shout out if you want to follow me on Twitter and make sure you get your voice heard. Definitely follow me at Dolynny TV. Really simple, same as the channel name, just get on there. Kinda was at 36%, so some guys were happy with some things not, which is kind of where I sit, right? I'm not overly impressed with the game. I've made myself clear. And 36% of you were not at all impressed with the game. Now, here's what I'm saying. Like I said, I don't want you to be in the very category. I don't want you to be in the not at all category. There was a lot to like from the Oilers in that game, but there was also a lot to dislike, and that's why I think it evens out at the kinda, right? That's why kinda is still up there with not at all. My argument for kinda is, like I said, the support. That is the big first step. These boys have to want to play together and play for each other. If they can do that, they can learn a system in which they can win. That's why I think it was a very okay game for the Oilers. Not very great. I wasn't very impressed. I was kind of impressed. And I mean, I was jumping and hollering and, oh man, I was celebrating just based on the fact that we were doing some small, simple things right. But the problem is, if at game 21, 22 of the season, you're doing the small, simple things right, finally, that's an issue. And that's obviously why Todd McLellan got fired right there. Like, I've touched on it, don't need to touch on it again. But guys, I've broken it down as simply as I can. I'm going to turn it over to you guys. Hey, what do you think? Let me know in the comments section down below. Make sure to hit that subscribe button if you're new to Dolynny TV, if you're new to the format of these. I'm Tyson, this is Dolynny TV. I am up on out of here.